So, how do you critique something that is the central tenet of belief for over 2 billion people in the world? Well, let's find out, shall we? Son of God is the feature film version of the life of Jesus as shown in the History Channel's miniseries, The Bible. It uses many of the scenes from the original television presentation, as well as some bonus material to round out the story. The film focuses on the life of Jesus as told by John from his birth to his death and resurrection, direct from the biblical account. Mark Burnett and Roma Downey, who also did the TV miniseries, head up the production. And of course, the easiest thing to say is that if you enjoyed the miniseries, then you'll likely enjoy this, because it's really pretty much the same thing. But let's go a bit deeper, shall we? Is it a good movie? Well, it's very well produced, the acting is decent, and the story points are arrived at efficiently and cogently. And you really do start to get a sense for how the structure of the Jesus story wove itself around and through the avenues of the Jews, the Romans, and the early Christians. In fact, that's probably my favorite thing about the film, that it seemed to handle the historical context of the story with honesty and even insight. And yet, I kept finding that anytime I was genuinely moved by the film, it wasn't because of anything the filmmakers did. It was because of the underlying story. You see, I believe this stuff. I'm a Jesus guy. I mean, I don't usually make a fuss about it in my reviews, but the biblical account of Christ's life, death, and resurrection, it's kind of a big deal for me, which makes reviewing a movie like this an interesting task. I want to be able to separate my convictions from my critique. Not that the message doesn't factor into my, or even possibly your, enjoyment, but I want to make sure the many who don't hold the same beliefs know what to expect as well. And at the end of the day, there really isn't much of a movie here. It's just also very mediocre in paint by numbers. It's basically the classic Sunday school version with big budget effects instead of flannel graph. It's like every Easter cantata you've seen rolled into one. And for many who believe that might be enough, but I guess I would have liked to see some artistic chances taken. You get the sense that the producers were so focused on making things accurate that they forgot to make things excellent. I mean, feel free to stick to the literal biblical account, but do something interesting with the way you shoot it or the order of the story. What I'm saying is, if you believe you're telling the greatest story ever told, then make the effort to tell it greatly. Again, this doesn't mean it's poorly done, only that there doesn't seem to be any sense of artistic vision or creative risk-taking that can take a movie to the next level. At the end of the day, if you dig Jesus, this movie will likely mean a lot to you. Even if the mediocre presentation means they don't necessarily screw it up, it also means there isn't much interesting here beyond the interpreted text. I'm going with a B- for me, and maybe a full grade lower if the underlying story doesn't resonate with you. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. You can stay tuned for this review's best ever challenge here in a bit. But first, I'm going to put some stuff up over here you can click on if you want. If you want to subscribe, which I'd very much appreciate, you can do that by clicking the big gray subscribe button. Want to see more? Well, the only other movie this week was the latest Liam Neeson on a Rampage flick, Non-Stop. So you can click to see my review of that. And don't forget to check out The Critic, The Geek, and The Girl every other Monday if you'd like a longer, more conversational take on some of these films. You can also click the logo right up here to go to yourmoviefriend.com, where you can search by title for reviews. And finally, this review's best ever challenge, where you name the best movie ever in a particular category and also try to identify my choice. So what is the best biblical movie ever? My top two both feature great chariot races, but I'll pick the one that pairs Steve Martin and Martin Short as comedy relief. Drop your own answer and a guess at mine in the comments, and the first person to guess mine does get that point. Thanks, and please